Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. This channel is created to share my view on various financial problems. Today I will present about Shopify internationalization journey. So we'll explore how a Canadian startup become a global e-commerce platform, the resources and innovations that enable its success, the challenge it faced, and my outlook for where it will be in the next 5 years. Okay, so let's start with the company profile. Shopify was founded in 2006 in Ottawa, Canada by Tobias Look and his friend. Originally, it was developed as an in-house tool for selling snowboarding gear online, but quickly evolved into full SaaS platform. To be short, it enabled small and medium enterprises to create digital storefront easily, which they believe could get their business off the ground. In 2024, Shopify processed $292.3 billion in GMV and generate $8.88 million in revenue, with 33% of international revenue growth compared to 2023. Today, Shopify supports merchants in over 175 countries and has processed close to 300 billion US dollar in a global transaction. Its platform ecosystem includes payments, logistics, marketing tools, and thousands of the third-party apps. Shopify has offices in major global cities such as Dublin, Singapore, and Bangalore. But most of its international presence relied on digital reach and localized partnership. Okay, so now let's explore about its internationalization journey. So Shopify exemplifies a born global firm, a business that expands overseas very quickly, often from the start. From the outset, its SaaS model allowed it to serve customers worldwide without the limit of their physical infrastructure. In 2023, about 29% of the Shopify revenue came from region outside the North America, showing its early global reach. The pace of the internationalization was rapid. Within just a few years of launch, Shopify was supporting merchants outside North America, particularly in Europe. By the mid-2010, expansion accelerated into Asia and Latin America as the e-commerce adoption rose. So the scale of the entry has varied in many countries. Shopify operate digitally with a minimum physical presence, offering local domains, currencies, and payment methods in focusing markets such as the United States and Singapore. However, it built office and launched local services like the Shopify POS to combine their digital scale within their market support. The scope of its expansion is wide. Unlike the upseller model, which explains global growth as gradual and usually starting with the nearby country, Shopify did not restrict itself to culturally or geographically close markets. Instead, it expanded into multiple regions at the same time, showing the trait of a born global firm. Based on my research with the VRIO framework, a tool of the resource-based build theory, I have investigated that Shopify key resources are both technological and organizational. Its platform architecture is scalable, modular, and API-driven. This infrastructure enables rapid adoption to new markets, and it's difficult for competitors to imitate. Second is partner ecosystem. Its major strength. The Shopify App Store has over 16,000 apps created by a developer around the world. These apps create strong network effects where the value of their platform grows as more users and developers join. Thirdly, its entrepreneur team play a crucial role. Founder Tobias Look brought a strong engineering mindset, prioritizing scalable infrastructure and product simplicity. The company culture of adaptability are reflected in a constant innovation, such as the Shopify payments and a point of sales integration, illustrate the role of dynamic capability in sustaining international growth. Shopify also showed the strong dynamic capability, the ability to adapt the change strategy. For example, in 2023, it sold its logistic arm to a Flexport so it could refocus on its core software. In 2024, it expanded AI tools like Magic and Sidekick across its platform to help merchants with tasks such as their marketing or store design. Finally, Shopify emphasized on user experience and merchant support, created a customer-centric reputation that resonates across diverse cultural contexts. Despite success, Shopify has faced resource gap and mistake in its expansion. Localization has been a recurring challenge. Our concept of the liability of foreignness shows that poor localization increases the perceived risk for customers when buying from global firms. Translating enterprises, integrating regional tax systems, and adapting to cultural preferences will not always handle effectively. For Shopify, Global expansion has required navigating complex challenges such as the integration and regulatory compliance. In the European Union, for example, the introduction of the GDPR has placed additional demand on merchants and to ensure data privacy, while varying VAT rules have made cross-border payment and tax management for more complicated. So Shopify also struggle in a highly regulated environment. Shopify has faced barrier entering China, where the merchants must comply with the regulatory requirements such as their ICP licenses and localization rules. Alongside strict data sovereignty laws like the Personal Information Protection Law that limit cross-border data flow. These challenges are compounded by other entrants, competition from dominant local platforms, with Alibaba controlling over 40% of the China e-commerce market. Dependent on its developer ecosystem in another weakness, while the App Store is powerful, it also means localization often relied on third party who may not focus on a smaller or non-English market. In 2025, Shopify and its free revenue share exemption sparkling backlash among smaller developers and exposing dependency. Finally, competition is intense. Rivals like Amazon in North America, Mercado in Latin America, and Shopee in Southeast Asia has introduced similar merchant services, putting significant pressure on Shopify global strategy. So here are several push factors drove Shopify to internationalize. So first, Canada domestic e-commerce market is relatively small. For sustained growth, Shopify need access to larger merchant base. Second, scaling digital infrastructure depend on volume. Running a global SaaS platform require huge transaction numbers to cover costs and justify ongoing investment. International expansion gave Shopify the scale of need. Third, the nature of the SaaS create global pressure. Software has very low marginal cost. One is built. Serving one more custom costs almost nothing. So research showed that young knowledge-intensive firms often internationalize quickly because of the scale advantage. For Shopify, this means the more global it became, the more powerful its network effect were. Shopify expansion was also shaped by the pull factors. First, demand was strong. In Europe, Asia, and Latin America, e-commerce adoption surged with rising internet and smartphone use, a trend accelerated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Second, policy environments encourage expansion. In markets such as Singapore, government initiative supporting cross-border digital trade create favorable conditions for platforms like Shopify. The launch of the Shopify POS in Singapore illustrates how the company leveraged its supportive ecosystem to connect online and offline sales. Entrepreneur cluster and small business community in emerging markets create strong demand for accessible e-commerce platform. This demand fits with Shopify merchants' first philosophy, which is about lowering barrier for entrepreneur worldwide. Study also showed that entrepreneurial ecosystem in emerging markets play a major role in supporting small business growth and internationalization. Applying Porter diamond model, host market offer strong factor condition like digital infrastructure, clear demand condition, customer behavior, market size, growth, and retail industries such as the e-commerce platform, fintech, and ICT service that support Shopify local integration. Looking ahead, Shopify future offer both opportunity and challenges. On the opportunity side, Shopify can expand deeper into undeserved regions such as Africa and Southeast Asia, where the e-commerce penetration is accelerating. Its omni-channel strategy, blending online with physical retail through a point-of-sale solutions, while further strengthen its value proposition. Artificial intelligence and machine learning tools will also enhance personalization and inventory management and fraud prevention. However, the challenges are significant. Data sovereignty laws and privacy regulation may constrain operation in certain jurisdictions. Competition from entrants, local players such as the Mercado in Latin America or Shopee in Southeast Asia pose a constant threat. Moreover, the complexity of localization from payment to tax compliance will intensify as Shopify broadens its global footprint. Overall, Shopify trajectory demonstrates that being born global enable rapid expansion, but sustaining international growth required constant innovation, adaptation, and sensitive to the local context. To conclude, Shopify story illustrates the strengths and vulnerability of born global digital ventures. It's leverage unique technological resources, network effects, and dynamic capability to internationalize rapidly and at scale. Yet, it's the journey to also highlight the importance of the localization, regulatory adoption, and careful strategic position in a highly competitive global markets. Thank you for listening.